A group of migrants are brought into Dover, Kent, on board the RNLI Dover lifeboat after attempting to cross the English Channel in a picture. PA. The British Home Office has begun formally notifying asylum seekers of their removal to Rwanda, with the first deportation flight expected to depart in 2 weeks. The government described the move as the final administrative step in its partnership with the East African nation, whereby people who are deemed to have entered the UK illegally will be encouraged to rebuild their lives thousands of miles. Home Secretary Priti Patel said it is expected that attempts will now be made to frustrate the process and delay removals, but she will not be deterred in her plan. Campaigners were previously boosted by confirmation that flights would not go ahead by the end of May, as originally signaled by Boris Johnson, following action from charities concerned about. The Home Office said it started issuing notices of intent earlier this month, informing some individuals they were in scope for relocation. The removal directions confirm to people that they are being sent to Rwanda, and when, with the first flight expected to depart on June 4. The department said officials are working to ensure individuals are given the appropriate support ahead of departure. Those being relocated to the East African nation include people who have taken dangerous, unnecessary, and illegal journeys, including crossing the Channel, it said. Described by Ms. Patel as a world-first agreement when it was announced last month, the deportation policy will see asylum seekers deemed to have entered the UK by illegal means sent to Rwanda, where their claims will be if successful, they will be granted asylum or given refugee status those with failed bids will be offered the chance to apply for visas under other immigration routes if they wish to remain in Rwanda, but could still face deportation. Ms. Patel said, "Our world-leading partnership with Rwanda is a key part of our strategy to overhaul the broken asylum system and break the evil people smugglers' business." Today's announcement is another critical step towards delivering that partnership and, while we know attempts will now be made to frustrate the process and delay removals, I will not be deterred and remain fully committed to delivering with the British public. The UK is paying the processing costs for each person sent to Rwanda, including caseworkers, access to legal advice, translators, accommodation, food, healthcare and up to 5 years of training. Boris Johnson said tens of thousands of people could be flown to the nation under the agreement. But the Times reported that modeling by Home Office officials indicated that only 300 a year could be. The department later said it did not recognize the figure in the number. The controversial plan to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda has been described as irrational and unlawful by campaigners, with several organizations threatening to take the Home Office to court over the policy. Guidance published by the department said the East African nation is a safe country to relocate people to, although an assessment carried out before the agreement found some concerns with its human rights record around political opposition to the current regime, dissent and free speech. Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper said, "The Rwanda scheme isn't about deterring the criminal gangs or small boat crossings, it's about chasing headlines regardless of reality. This is a completely unworkable, extortionately expensive, and deeply un-British policy. There is no proper process for identifying people who have been trafficked or tortured." More than 6 weeks after it was announced, the Home Office still hasn't said how much it will cost per person on top of the substantial £120 million already. Meanwhile, there is still nothing to turn around the huge drop in Home Office asylum decision-making or to tackle the Bella Sankey, Director of Detention Action, one of the organizations threatening legal action against the plan, said, "What a way to mark the Platinum Jubilee weekend, by telling torture and slavery survivors who have traveled thousands of miles to reach safety that they will be expelled to an oppressive dictatorship." Sonia Seitz, Chief Executive of Freedom from Torture, said, "This is a battle for the soul of Britain." While compassionate people across the country are welcoming refugees into their homes and communities with open arms, ministers are still trying to turn us against each other to distract us. Given serious legal questions still awaiting judicial scrutiny, this announcement looks like political grandstanding by a prime minister desperate to divert the public from speculation about his fitness to lead. We welcome the strong public support for our plans to challenge this neo-colonial cash for human scheme and ensure the UK is a safe place for people fleeing torture and persecution. A Public and Commercial Services Union spokesperson said, "The government's policy to send migrants to Rwanda is inhumane and impractical, and together with charities Detention Action and Care for Calais, we shall continue to challenge it in the courts."